This call is
Yeah,
now being
it's
transcribed. This call
it's
is now being
on.
recorded.
Yes.
This call is
So,
now taking notes.
like for the most part, I tried it in German,
Mhm.
but I will have so like 1 hour tomorrow in the context of like the problems with the church, and that does not really belong too much to so when it is with the lawyer on the police on the 27th, it should be less about that. But the problem is that it is most likely connected. And so on the 27th, it will be more about which indictments the police will bring forward. So because when the authorities make an indictment, it has a lot of advantages, especially they cannot silence this with going after me, right? So like my godfather, like if the police brings the indictment forward, they cannot. It is then too late to go after me, right? Yeah. So like there was this distraction with the cats yesterday, and so they ended up. So those kittens ended up in the hands of the neighbor, and because they're uh, at some point she had 3 cats, but they died and one ran away, and but that's the neighbor. I lived there several years, from 2018 to 2000 end of 2021, and yeah. So and I mean, I don't like cats, and all I did was like complaining, and I'm the reason there is now a solution with this ranger service. Since now it's like 15 months, and I mean, she also like the farmer as well. So because those were so like he has kind of a wild cat for several years now, and like those 2 kittens, they are like from this spring, so May is normally the time, so they are just a couple months old, and so no one they belong to no one, and this is not that like it's a big issue around here as well, but it's not like in Italy. When you go to Italy, there are places where the tourists basically feed all those cats that are there, and it's not like that. But it's a big issue for the environment, and it's like if no one looks after the offspring of a house cat, they normally die because of so they normally die in the winter because of illnesses, and so like yeah, that's definitely, but so that's why I didn't probably finish that in German yesterday. And Ruth will like keep us posted about how it continues with those kittens, right? But this just shows how I mean, my family, the neighborhood, they don't want to talk about something else than that, right? And so I made this point again with Joshua Bell playing the shotgun in this DC airport or metro, and like 99%, no, even more, 99.7%, they just don't even have a second to listen, and the performance is like 20 minutes, and like, I mean, this is one of the so you pay for a ticket like $150 for the performance of this. Yeah, and this is just how like if you have a recording of like someone getting raped in the corner or like whatever, like this is just what it is. 99 plus percent of humanity just doesn't bother if they don't know that it has consequences for them, right? And like, so it doesn't come as a surprise that like everyone in my family and everyone in such a village behaves like that, right? But so I try to repeat again. So because this will be mostly about Einsiedeln and Kanton Schwyz, so that jurisdiction. And so the first like contact with the psychiatrist was in 2014. So like a year after my accident, and after I tried with those unspecific infiltrations and like in the Bethesda Spital. And so when they basically told me like there is like they don't recommend a surgery, and that I should try to continue as best as possible. So a herniated disc will normally get not fixed, but like it rearranges itself in like 2-3 years at that age. And like, yeah, back then I was still like physically fit, so it was a sports accident, right? And so it didn't get better at all, and I didn't manage with the studies. So my Hausarzt, my godfather, kind of ordered me back after like 8 months. I tried to continue, it didn't work, and so that's where I was really in like therapy. It was a program where I think this would be the right approach, where they kind of work together. So the psychiatrist, this Kasper Schneider, Bigozzi, the specialist for the back, and my godfather, so Beat Küchler as the Hausarzt. And then there was physiotherapy. So like I ended up doing that program, but it was the first time that I like took medication, for example. So Mirtazapin, and in hindsight, like they did so much wrong, especially the psychiatrist. It was this bad. For example, Mirtazapin in this context, at that age, like you will have problems with your weight because of that for the rest of your life, right? And they didn't warn me about that risk. It was just that he recommended to try that for a year. It had absolutely no positive effect, and I learned much later how harmful that was, right? But this is just how they are. They are this dependent of the pharma industry. So for example, that. And then there is a lot more I kind of by chance figured out much later. Well then, after that program, and it was mostly that I attempted to do exercises with pain. That was the worst idea in hindsight as well, but so the version of the psychiatrist is still that I'm hyper sensible, and that for the most part you just have to learn how to deal with pain, right? So it was this bad, and the physiotherapy, like before that as well, it was the same location. So this physiotherapy dollar. So the biggest mistake the first physiotherapist did, like instead of recommending to check it, make MRI pictures, he just recommended to do like shoulder bridge exercises so that there will be no complications. And the worst that could happen is like a herniated disc, and you don't want that. But we know now that there already the accident happened. So that alone would be a $250,000 in like you could sue them for that if you presented the case properly back then. And the problem is that you will never find a lawyer around here that actually does that proper. But this is what will happen if it has no consequences for them, right? So the physiotherapist, it's just like he's just not allowed to make those kind of diagnoses. So that went completely wrong, right? And then in 2016, where like everything fell apart with so that I just couldn't continue, and it didn't get better as they promised in the Bethesda hospital. So in Basel, this is like the special hospital for exactly those kind pain therapy hospital, right? So we made like I accepted I'm not able to continue as planned, and I didn't just take a break. I quit my master in 2016, and well, then there was this issue with my former like flatmates. I would consider them my best friends still. So Niels and Christina. So but like I didn't have many female friends, but still like and so this was just the same. It basically is still the same issue I have. You can just not share a story with the society. But even though I consider myself lucky that I had friends, and there were a lot of things we talked. I was able to talk with Niels especially, but what it was too much for them, right? So because they didn't understand that, like the script fell completely apart. So the script of like what you have, like every family has roughly this plan for their offspring here. Like you go study, if you can, you do a PhD, and I had the PhD planned at MIT. So that was not the issue. The issue was that no longer worked, and then they have no solution, and they just don't want to. They're just not used to those situations. They are used that they tell you about their ideas for a PhD and so forth, but about the real issues, they they and well, I underestimated it myself. So in 2013, when this living situation, so the WG fell apart, I was convinced that this would get better and that they just need patience, right? And so I couldn't sleep after it was a journey to the swimming hall, and I talked a lot on the phone. So this is the first time in my life I couldn't sleep for 5 days in a row. And so
Yes.
like eben in hindsight, I guess this was the heaviest psychosis I had, and I never even like read about that something like that is possible, right? So with 25, I would not have believed that this could happen, right? But so I ended up in the mental hospital the first time because like there I was no longer so it was no longer possible to talk to me, and so they just put me to sleep already at my parents'. So my godfather tried for an hour, and I guess this was I guess it was okay, that decision, but you still should have done the Nachbesprechung, because there are but this was in 2016, and this is too late to do it now. And so the main issue is that it took until 2021 that I, well, by accident or because I had the first time this assistance with this job coach, Lilian Schönbachler, so that we requested the documents from 2019, the Gutachten, the IV paid for, and there the report of this psychiatrist Kaspar Schneider was the biggest issue. Because of that, it was completely worthless. And this Gutachten alone cost it's the taxpayers, right? 12,000 Swiss francs. And it was for nothing because of Kaspar Schneider. And so eben in 2021, that was after my surgery and the reha visit. Well, it was the first time that I had this distance, and without. So if I requested those documents on my own, I would not have gotten them, right? So you needed. And then eben, this was more. It was more by accident that we found this. And so we had to show that this psychiatrist, it was the highest, the Kantonsarzt in Kanton Schwyz, so was completely off with his report. So one important fact I figured out in 2023 is that Kaspar Schneider was the reason I was released from the mental hospital in 2016. But the rest is that he made up that this program, so in 2014, was after this mental hospital visit. And then he wrote that I was able to continue my studies without problems. That was not even the case in 2014, but there I tried to continue in 2017, right? 8 months later. And well, for the Begutachtungszentrum, so they always try to paint it in a way that there is so that well, if it's like different opinions, then they choose the one that is like kind of it's about insurances, so that they don't have to pay invalidity pension, right? And so that's well, in 2021 as well, I had for the first time a different therapist in guys, and they were this unhappy. Now I lost. So I don't know. So. So. Oh yeah. So yeah, I can. So I didn't notice. I think I continued. So, but it should be on the recording, because for me it is still showing as well that is record. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just continued the meeting on my own for a while, right? Like I try to so build this case. So in 2021, my family.
Yeah, I listened from rehab. You went to rehab.
Yeah. So
that-
it
yeah.
was the first time that I didn't have this Praxis Ricklin as the sole therapy since 2027. In 2027, that there was the next mental hospital visit. The thing is, like this part, I mean, the book is a good summary up to like 2020, when it was about the surgery and that mental hospital visit in 2020, and then the this expose on the homepage is good for like what happened up to end of 2021. And so because of that, so there was this double so this deal with my godfather. So he requested that I would have a psychiatrist accompanied, so properly accompanied, not the brother of this Michael Ricklin. So I ended up with Martin Leitinger, and he has the same position still for the Ambulatorium in Einsiedeln as Spasojevic, right? Here. So yeah. And so there was even that we had a meeting. So my godfather, the aunt there, and my parents, and like about how that can continue. And so, like, Leitinger never diagnosed something. He said maybe we should look into this so autism, Asperger, so like, because that was that, like, up to that point, Kasper Schneider didn't make that diagnosis, but it was his Verdacht, right? And so, like he recommended to look into it, but it was not like, this is not the deciding factor, right? And otherwise, he never made like bipolar or something. He didn't make that kind of diagnosis. But then my family met behind my back with this Kasper Schneider, and after that, so we met with Promentesana. We had an attempt by this pastoral caretaker Hans Hüppi, and they all recommended, don't do this. Like, if you are this unhappy with the therapy, then find together a new solution. But what my family did, they kind of blackmailed me into completely cutting the ties to this doctor in psychology, Michael Ricklin. And so they didn't tell me what they discussed in this meeting with Kasper Schneider. But there they were all, so my godmother and Kirchenratspräsident, uncle, my parents, and Bea Küchler and Kasper Schneider. And so with the job coach, but later I requested that, or she recommended that I requested about what this Kasper Schneider told my family. And so he even wrote that. And well, it was the same as my father told the police unasked in 2020 that led to that mental hospital visit. So that I'm bipolar, autistic, and so even schizoaffektiv. So this is a form of a bipolar disorder where you, and then he explained that at some point this kind of comes together, and then this is more like schizophrenia. So like that those psychosis so can happen all the time. So not just in the manic episode, it can be all the time. So that was his diagnosis, and I told him this is absolutely not the situation, and I didn't agree to anything like that they talk on the floor about my case, not at all, the opposite, and that was in place in written form since the mental hospital visit in 2017. And well, he then distracted, like they always did. Well, I'm allowed to talk to my so like this is a family friend, and this is my opinion, right? And he argued that he is still well informed in the case, and well, that was roughly, and then he told me, well, then I have to prove him that this is no longer. So I explained I would like to share what was with the surgery, and that I didn't have any kind of problems with how it was before the surgery, with like that I couldn't sleep for days and was psychotic. But he was not interested in that. He just told me, well, then I have to prove that, right? And so that's what I tried, even though it was another forced. But that's why it was quick. So it was real quick that I got an appointment ambulatorium. So that was Daut, Hannah Daut, the psychiatrist, because their connections. So I got an appointment, and then the agreement was that we look in all those questions, so that they write a report, so that the IV doesn't have to make another Gutachten. And so that's what we did or doesn't have to pay for another one, and this is another issue. So it's just in our system, the cantonale psychiatric business has the advantage for the IV that you can kind of let your health insurance pay for the Gutachten, right? And the private, so not part of the canton, like the Praxisrichtlinie, they cannot do that, right? But so I went there, and they completely dissolved the. Well, it was the best situation. So eben, there I had this Lilian Schönbächler as a job coach. I had Sibyl Ulrich as the peer who like experienced herself already 3 mental hospital visits and had this experience. And so we had a meeting, like even my brothers once in August 2021. And then the Psychiatrie Uznach decided from now on they will do those kind of round tables. They will organize that. So their social care worker and yeah. And that never happened. So like that was always the plan, and that we discussed it when the results from this Fachpsychologe der Manning was finished in November. That was the case. So like 5 months, and well, that never happened. So this Hannah Dowd quit the case, the mandate, without an explanation, and I ended up with Lars Muster, so the next psychiatrist, and there this expose on the homepage was like as it is now, right? So this der lange Atem, and with that, so I shared that in like well, we had the different like Zoom so I had a Zoom meeting around with my mother and well, her like best friend, so the godmother of my brother, and like my aunt that became a psychiatrist. And then we had this reading, so this book cycle, and so there we tried to prepare my book project, and so there I shared it as well. That was for the most part just Michael Richtlin and some of their books club basically that were interested. And well, I shared it with my godfather, so Beat Küchler, and I proposed that we discuss this with the psychiatrist and go from there, right? And so instead of doing that, he tried in the room, right? So he tried to. There he showed his colors. So he was all about, we have to silence this. Like, don't you see how crazy it is that someone, even like my nephew, tries to he tried the version that this is all made up. And so I left the room. I told Lars Muster, I'm absolutely not on board with this. And I don't know what happened, but my godfather like used that hour, and ever I had to, when the time was over, I had to. He was still there, and yeah, the psychiatrist. So like to discuss the next appointment. My father was tried that as well, and then it was more about that the Psychiatry St. Gallen tried to request another 3 months. But it was agreed with my uncle, my godmother, that end of 2021 I would go to Männedorf and do the job attempts or EV decision by the end of the year was promised. And so there, Spasojevic was already their like administrative boss, I guess, but I never saw him during the time. But he never signed the report, even though it was basically finished by Herr Menning. And so, well, in 2022, I made those job attempts, but it was based on, I have a recording that my parents wanted this, my father wanted this, and always with this diagnosis, but they listened to this Kasper Schneider. So that is basically just a psychological issue. That this kind of pain is no explanation for the issues, right? And well, the problem is that my father promised them a lot of like that he has connections at ETH and so that it should be possible to do like finish a project with but like those were completely empty promises. He never did nothing in that regard. But we tried with the Fachhochschule and it was all our effort. So the job coach, but during that time and myself, but during that time the IV officially paid this job coaching. And so first I tried on this farmer's place in Männedorf and lived there, and then but the IV never really supported this. It was our initiative, and then when they failed, so I summarized this already somewhere, but like in summer 2022, the therapist I had there from the Klienia in Männedorf, so the ambulatorium there, she decided, well, now is no longer a reason to keep this like private because of the past. We didn't tell my family this time the therapist, right? Because like this is the issue that they should never be allowed to know this, but because they paid my bills, it was not possible. So both sides had to agree that they don't know this time, and then because there was basically no hope left, she decided, well, now she would like to try that again with my parents because the path was with exit, right? I was discussing there, and well, again, my godfather, my father, so it was in written form. They tried again to like decide for the family. They speak in me or write about me in third person, and like it's about that they basically don't think it's that important with this back and forth with there it's already the Sozialversicherungsanstalt in Kanton St. Gallen, but like this back and forth with the invalidity, also insurance or integration insurance, so this IV, because like they can just pay. The family can just find another solution. And the problem is that, like, I don't think they were that wrong, actually, with that. Because if you look at, so this is the other book, Johanna properly wrote that time, about the portrait about so long COVID patients and this CFS, so this this chronic fatigue syndrome, but ME, so back then it was not, research was not that aware that this is just the same as like if you have this like kind of problems after like a fever that can happen as well, right? And to this day, there is basically no decision, a positive decision for what it is. So this is not a psychosomatic diagnosis. So some of them recover in like 2-3 years, but many they are worse off than I was in 2021, right? And they cannot even go to the Begutachtungszentrum. They cannot even go to. But I didn't have to go in 2021. That's why it was a Zoom. That's why I have a recording. So ever like you have to fight that you don't have to go if you can't. And for many of them, like it would get a lot worse just traveling there, right? And so there will never be a decision like in my case for. In my case, it was like a decade in the end, right? From 2013 to 2023. And like you get no assistance. And so that's where I tried with this family foundation and tried to find other ways. But it's always empty promises, especially my godfather recommended, well, I should just get a loan, 100,000 from him. And if I cannot pay that back, it doesn't really matter, something like that. But he was as well boasting how rich he is compared to my father. So that fell completely apart. And then like not even 10 days later, I don't know, it was my aunt or like they didn't agree. And then it was not like that they apologized ever for that. It was just ever because I'm this with the psychological issues, they didn't treat me as a proper human being, a person that can decide on its own. And so based on that, got the decision that we didn't involve them, so they doubled down on that, why this is not possible. And so then there was the attempt, in the end, the decision of the SVA was made based on the report Exit. So in the end, Exit had to request the parent, so ask those questions, get up-to-date report from the psychiatric business, and well, that was tricky as well. But in the end, the eval decision was kind of right after this, right? Based on what my job coach wrote, and it is often like that. Once the integration attempts failed, the eval decision will be made. So they don't quote the reports that were produced, but it's basically the same. Notwil told as well, and there is well, I basically made my own Gutachten in Notwil. Well, there was another recommendation by my Hausarzt as well. So like every day did the same. So they made all those interviews interdisciplinary, and they already a lot is possible to explain with how bad I slept up to 2020. And so they basically recommended I just need to calm down, get away from the monetary, that I was dependent on my family, and reduce the stress, and maybe that can get much better. And so that didn't help that much either. So they didn't even recommend like some sleeping drugs. They actually recommended to be careful with the mishta, so you don't sleep. The deep sleep state is not the same as if you sleep naturally. So the back cannot really recover. Yeah. And so there was the first time that I decided I want to do a mental hospital visit on my own accord, because there was the financial mess to resolve that took up to beginning of 25, and the living situation, so in the flat, was not was very tricky, and well, I didn't have because I had to go back to Canton St. Gallen. I had no longer a therapy running, and so eben this Spasojevic, when he learned that I was back, so it was a psychiatrist in Rappi, but that is now one place in Uznach. So like she knew nothing about that, but when Spasojevic saw me, he renewed that so that I have no access to the building. And so the police controlled that, and then I this is still the it's that's the substance of this case, and where all those involved should learn how important it is to learn from mistakes and why you have to do this Nachbesprechung. But now the problem is there already. So in 2021, I wanted to join the community in Einsiedeln. So seriously, 15 months, like become a priest, so study theology and with Alois. And the reason that they didn't take me was that they considered me mentally ill as well, right? And so that's what they did in the past. So it's exactly the same they did to this Sibyl. So she was one of the first females at the gymnasium. So before that, my father there, it was like there were no girls allowed, right, at the gymnasium in Einsiedeln. And well, for the most part, it was the internat. I mean, not so my father was from like 40, the only one from Einsiedeln, so he was not in the what is that, boarding school, so in the internat, right? And well, when she was like 16, her father, I guess, committed suicide, or it was an accident. And like this is part of my family system. We are not directly related, but it's part of Birchler, so my family. And especially her godmother, so the sister of her father there, kind of for a year just pretended this didn't happen. So he was even continuing work for a year because they just didn't talk about it. And she ended up, and that changed in 2013-14, that this is no longer allowed, right? So the authorities, she will never know. There's just someone calls the Hausarzt, and then the police brings you to the mental hospital. And that changed in 2014. This is no longer how that should work. but back then this was normal, and it was based on that a monk, so a teacher at the gymnasium, well, picked something up. Absolutely not his business, right? She was relieved that her father, who had heavy depressions, was able to go. And most expected that as a daughter you would be sad, right? And so that's the reason they put her in a mental hospital. Yeah. And then again, when she was like 20, and like this influence of the monks, the church in Einsiedeln, the problem is they didn't change that much. And this is when the communication is this bad. So like if one wants, you easily find those facts with ChatGPT assisted search nowadays. So like in 2010, the Public Prosecution Office decided, there is this term verjährt, so that it is no longer relevant for them because the cases are too old. And the problem is that they public, also like went to the public media. So all those cases in the 70s to up to 2000, they were verjährt. And so it was not just like back then, it was as well that you ended up in a forester child home, so like Verdingkinder, so the Kinderheim, and that was all connected to the church, and like for example, Peter Eberle, so this is like he is closer related. He was the Landschreiber. So all of those authorities made nothing else than like omit. It's not that different from the dynamics you have with the Epstein case, right? So you know now that all those administrations, so Clinton, Bush, I mean then Obama, Trump especially. So they did the opposite of investigation, right? And so the law changed in 2013 in Switzerland that those kind of deeds, so sexual, with when they are below 13. There is no longer that this will go away after some years. So I mean that there is like for the Genugtuung for the injury of the transportation, I have 3 months, for example. Most things are like, it depends from canton to canton, but like most are like 3 or 5 years. And so that changed. So like the deeds of Pater Remigius, I don't know many that are on the list. They would no longer go away with time, right? So he had access. I was part of such a situation. So to the elementary school kids, right? And so that would, but that's why the former. I mean, it's a summary, but this is what you find. That's why the former Abbas Martin Verlen. So for the end of his term, he wanted to release. So he looked into those cases, there were 15 different priests or monks, and 9 of them were involved in cases with so underaged and children, right? And so he wanted to start with the blacklist in the Catholic Church that this kind of blacklisted person is no longer allowed to teach the 12, 13-year-old. And so but internally, right? And the bishop conference, they decided against this. And so the next is in 2023, but I didn't know that before I didn't know about it in 2023. It would have made my decision to leave the church. I would double down on this, but I didn't know that. But in 2023, there was this case, and this is the Beobachter reporting about it. So the now re-elected abt, and it has gotten a lot worse since 2023. It was not that bad before, but now, if you just look at the organigram of all those strange jobs they invented, overpaid, they do nothing. It is even worse than in our time, and our rector, Pater Lorenz, like he was terrible. Like you couldn't go when there was an issue. It didn't matter what issue. But I tried with Pater Pascal, hopeless. There was a normal situation with our, I guess, French teacher, Kaiser. So at the end, you kind of have to learn for the Matura, so the last exams. You have a lot more free time. And so because the internat was closed down those years after Martin was the prefect, so there was this room where you had a television, and we kind of learned there. And then there was the situation that our French teacher and we were all watching the World Soccer Cup, but like half of the audience there should have been in school, right? And so like then there was the issue that their director failed completely as well. But this is a normal issue. So then you, in the worst case, get like a Verweis, and you have only after the 3rd Verweis you will get expelled from the school, something like that, right? But the issue with Pater Pascal, just this presentation of that he drew a vulva at the chalkboard and showed the girl he was most interested in close up how to put on the condom. This is so much worse, right? And this is just not talked about by all of them. So all of them, like the Schulratspräsident, Pater Mauritius, Pater Thomas, like all of them, I asked on the 11th July, so when we had like this class reunion, but like more the year of my brother. So and I asked this coach, so from 1995 to like 2007, I verified. So he did that every year. No one even dared to mention it, right? To complain about it. And I'm quite certain Pater Pascal is not even on that list, right? Now, the direct situation I had with the current Abbas, so Abt Urban. It was just that, like, this is not legally relevant, and it probably never was. But it is worse than what Pater Pascal did with this lesson. But not the whole, like the whole dynamic. So Pater Pascal, and there was a whole crew, and they were already like this tight before they joined the community in Einsiedeln. So it's just the way they are used to that, but they don't even want to know what my experience was with. They just want that it goes away. And now the solution is always so like at the local newspaper, so the Einsiedler Anzeiger. So since 2023, where this change was in the chief redactor, so they have no content, and especially nothing like critical against the church in Einsiedeln. And so like there were big issues. So they have horses, and like it was in the Luzerner Zeitung, so a much bigger newspaper. And then sometimes after they bring something, right? How bad they treated the animals. And this is not like Abt Martin Werlen did a lot in that regard, right? So it has gotten so much worse in recent years, and it costs a lot more, and it's in every regard with nature. So they got rightfully a prize, the Stefan Lienert, and now they are planting those Canadian Taxacea. So like in every regard, it's such a terrible development, and like and then in 2024 the Abt had the audacity to lie to the public that in hindsight it was probably not correct according to church law. So he made a mention to the Vatican about this case in the Beobachter 2023. But like, it doesn't help no one that you mention it to Rome. They are even worse, of course, like in that regard, right? And so it's just like you don't understand how bad this is for the victims. And the ones that understand, or you would expect to understand. So my father was 8 years at the gymnasium in Einsiedeln. They like they did with Romano Schäfer. So like the worst part was when he was like that age, so 13 years old, because the stepfather and his friend raped the sister, the 14-year-old sister, in a way that there were scars and so forth. That the prosecution office got involved. They blamed it on the gay pedophile brother. So he had no interest sexually like in his sister. And so the sister committed suicide a year later. And the real culprits, for them, it had never consequences. So he was put in such a forester's home. And then once you had the bad luck that the family is such a mess and the Staatsanwaltschaft got involved, and if you are gay, like, this is basically already, well, they add up. So instead of, and that's the same they try with me as well. So now even 2023, they never did the. I tried to sue them, and they never did the Nachbesprechung. My family tried half a dozen times to put me away in a mental hospital. So again, in like 2023 and 2024, for them it no longer worked. The mental hospital tried, so they sent the police to my where now the kittens ended up, so in that neighborhood. And even when I told them, well, I don't know why you are here. Do you have a reason? Can you show me? Can you tell me? They had nothing, so they left again. And then they tried with the Gesundheitsministerium, so the health department. And well, it was such an official document as well, but I didn't even see the letter in time because I was in Einsiedeln. So the decision was that this is not enough reason for fürsorgerische but they tried, right? They tried and tried. And then there was the most effort by my family ever, by far. So with this, mostly my mother, so with this Sternat, so this independent Fachpsychologe, very costly, but they paid for this Gutachten. And I mean, because most of the work was already done, there is a lot of documentation, especially since the book, and so it's like it's not that badly documented, but I'm in hindsight, according to this Gutachten, definitely from end of 2020 to now, well, there were no issues with like that. I would need Beistand, could not do my own decisions. And the problem is, they didn't accept it. So especially my godfather tried to discuss it with. Not discuss it. So he wrote a letter. So he just wrote in that letter, and I still have that letter, that it doesn't matter that much, but it is important that there is now a diagnosis so that I can be put in a living institution, so that I'm no longer annoying for the family, and that train track again, right? And so, even though my family has this letter, they know about this fact, they met again like 3 times behind my back. And then in 2025, we tried another, like, so with this Tina, the social care worker on my homepage, so a moderated round table. And after 7 minutes, when I just had to accept that, even though it was all about this behavior that they don't accept, and even this is sadly because it cost, instead of like $500 million, it costs now $1 billion. The insurance bills for psychotherapy. So the Commission already decided that from now on, a psychiatrist has to do the initial assessment. So, but that's mostly because they don't want to pay for it, right? Our citizens, our society. So that's changed. That will change back, but the way is that the psychiatrist can tell something like that, that he assumes there is like a mental disorder like autism. But then it's the Fachpsychologe over months that looks into such a case, right? It's not that's the it's not the authority is not the psychiatrist. Like he just recommends in such a case to look into it, right? And but they they all would know that. You find that if you make an AI assisted search, but they don't accept it. So they still try, and then in 2025 it was mostly about how of a failure it was with my mother and like those promises. And I just no longer make agreements with my parents directly, since my church president uncle is involved. They didn't break promises, but up to that point, it didn't matter. Even if I had a signed document by my father, he just broke the agreement if he could, right? And so there I don't have that many new issues. And like the problem is they were recommended by these kind of psychiatrists that they should do exactly that. So because the biggest danger is that someone who is bipolar invests all his money in some like whatever, like crypto investment or poker or something. So I get it there. It's not that I ever did this, but this is probably where they were coming from. But our communication between like me and my father is this bad. So I would never share my finances with them, for example. So like you can't, like they are, and we cannot talk about. So for example, because I'm now legally handicapped, I get this Ergänzungsleistungen. So because no one here can live just from the invalidity pension. This is like half. So in Switzerland you are considered poor with like 2,300 a month, and with IV and EL you have 2,450 a month. So it's not a lot, but you are not considered poor no longer, right? And so if you have like more than I don't know exactly what it is, like 30,000 in like fluid assets, and in total like 100,000, and then you don't get this EL. Then you have to use up those assets first, for example. And so they look into the finances of the direct family. So if your children or your parents have like 1.5 million is roughly where this is, then you would have to find another solution. So like with a loan and Erbvorzug, something like that. And the problem is that we cannot even talk about this. So my parents are not even open about that. So like if we don't agree, my brothers as well, then it will just end up like now I basically have a loan from the government. So half like you can decide for like half of like a third, because we are 3 children. So the Pflichtanteil you cannot really, but the rest you could. So it's I guess just the house will be like 150 grand. They will just pay back to the government because the family, because we were not able to discuss it. So like it's this obvious, and the problem is that my mother still wants to get reassured that she is doing a good job and that no, they are not. And it's like even when you have to discuss it with the Kinder- and Erwachsenenschutzbehörde, then there's something really wrong in a family system. And those things, I will be transparent about it. I will write about those things. Like I mean, this is, it's not without reason. It's such a tragedy, and you could, like around here, you could learn this much how not to do it, right? But they don't. So far, their strategy is to boycott, omit everything, right? And it might work for my father, like with alcohol, and he will not. Like he doesn't even have a very healthy lifestyle, and he's now, I don't know, so roughly 75. He will not live.
But yeah,
So like I mean,
seems
at
yeah.
some point, like I mean, he's no longer relevant. But I have like, well, if I have like 50 years still ahead, right? So I can no longer always, yeah. And well, then the the most like crazy case is definitely what happened in so in context with this Alteinsiedlertag and this Amok-FU. But if you look into it, it is more and more so like I mean, this is very fresh. So the this decision recommendation by the by the CASP, this that was on the 11th of August, and the problem is that I still don't know if it was the hospital in Einsiedeln or the police. So that they even opened this case, and they opened it in a way that they expected me, so the ones in Einsiedeln expected me that I would be in the mental hospital for 6 weeks, and then it would be about that so the CASP can prolong an FU or decide we put in a Beistand, and then you no longer decide on your own legally and so on. And so they expected me to be at least 6 weeks there, and then it would be about that they would put in. So I don't know what the term is, like a guard for, yeah. And so they was, like it was 3 days later. I told them, so they didn't accept this FU from the hospital in Einsiedeln. So do we have to do this appointment? What is about? They didn't tell me, and still they don't tell me, and this is the issue. And I had another such. So that's what we basically discussed on the 5th March. So with this Regionalleitung of the police. So in beginning of 2024, there was this case. So the solution is now, and I did a lot. They know that the Gemeindepresident in Kalbrunn and here, that there is now this ranger service. So the ranger, so you have no longer the situation that you call the police because you have a couple ladies that don't put the dog on a leash and walk in the Pro Natura Gelände. And then when the police arrives, they make pretty eyes and lie about this, right? And so I even had that I catch them again and like took a picture. The police still didn't listen. So the police did completely boycott me in those years from end of 2021 to 2026. And like it was the same with this Alfred Sonderer. So he told me I should use his name. Like he just takes the excuse that it is too much for him to understand, and that they are used that worked their whole life, right? But like the case was with the KISP, so his like not predecessor, but like in Uznach there was a police station as well. Now at the moment there is it's tricky, but in 2023 there was definitely still a police station in Uznach, and so there the chief of that Lindenmeyer. So I had this encounter with so a 55 plus lady dog in the Pro Naturgelände, not on the leash, the sign that it's not allowed in distance to see. And so I told like, and then she had then that she said something like, if I know who she is, like a person of higher standing, and so that I told her like if she knows who I am, and I didn't care at all, right? And so she went to this. I don't know if it's her nephew or something. So this Lindenmeyer, and they tried to get the KISP to get me. So remove me so that I'm no longer allowed to do my inline skate rounds. That completely backfired, but they tried. And instead of that, this police officer fined, like now that changed. So this is not that was on 1st August this year. So now it's in whole Switzerland. If you do this kind of littering, you get at least so the difference is now it's an Ordnungsbuße, so you don't have to sue all those formalities. It's like parking fine now, at least 100 Swiss francs. So if you don't pick up your dog's shit and so forth, you get in whole Switzerland fined at least 100 Swiss francs. And so the solution was not with the police. The solution is that there is now a ranger service, and then the other problem I have is with my godfather. So when I told him that this is really the deadline for if they want to discuss this Gutachten, then it's the 10th of March. And the police accepted this. The authorities, I mean, this is how it works. And then instead of doing that, and I showed them the letter of this Paul Schmiedig, so my father as well, maybe he tried to put me away in the mental hospital because I had the audacity to talk to my cousin, my Firmengötti-Bub, so his son, right? And the problem is that this is what they did now, right? On the 26th of June. And the communication is this bad. I don't know. I don't really think it was Kasper Schneider and my godfather again. But the problem is you cannot trust them. And they never apologized. And they just keep silent. And so far, when you look at those depositions in like the Congress in the United States, very often when they are silent in this way, they are the biggest culprits, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I mean, this is already part of this fachpsychologische Gutachten as well, because I have this past that it was always so they didn't treat me as a full person, and it was never right to do that. But since 2021, this is absolutely it's unbelievable. Well, if you don't like it's those kind of details that are the scandals for the family. So that I was invited from Hans Hüppi, so this, but they have him in high regards, and I think he was one of the last pastoral caretakers that did his job ever since he went in rent in 2022. It no longer works, the Seelsorge-Einheit around here. And so, he invited me, so there was like a Gottesdienst, and like his daughter is organizing a dance or something. So this kind of event, and I told him, no, because I have Hausverbot for the Gotteshäuser in this region as well. So I'm not allowed to enter the buildings of the church. So there is, this is still the police. So it was never resolved. It's not that I cannot live with that. I don't see why I should go there. But even this is something they just don't wanna. They just want to know about the cats and not the bigger issues. They just like cute cats. It's all you can share with them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, there as well. So it's like with Alfred Hitchcock with three. I don't know what the term. So the detective story. So in German it's drei Fragezeichen. So this is, I guess, for at the beginning of the gymnasium, those were some of the best books to read, I guess, right? And so they look into that some papageien or birds that can speak got kind of kidnapped even. So and it was just like $25 to get them back. But then behind that is a much bigger story, and it was really the same. So I just told them, instructed by Klaus Robin, who was responsible for this kind of so the ranger service in the Nationalpark and the Bargeieraufzucht and so like eben, and this is how I got scouted by the mafia 2-3 times. So where they do human trafficking, and the police is just not interested in that. So it's not even that they don't believe it; they just consider it completely crazy. But it happens like 200-300 meters before behind their Hauptstützpunkt, right? So this Polizeistützpunkt in Amerika, and so those kind of hotels where they actually should maybe at some point investigate where this kind of business is going on, the drug scene around here. That's just those are not the things they want to like the real crimes. They don't want to investigate, and like I mean, the other issue is with this eben for the Beobachter with this AfD situation. So I didn't know that, and it is really like in the newspaper, in the Einsiedler-Anzeiger, it was on the 6th of October. So I didn't know. I couldn't like if you were actually planning an attentat on this AfD-Führerin. So I reduced the word value by 2. This is that I try to so instead of Weidel, it's the Weibel, and I do the same for Ted Cruz. So instead of Z, I make it an X, right? So this is the worst I did. I reduced their word value, right, for my list. So I mean, I don't think that they would even get. They wouldn't even get. But yes, this is meant as like it's not well meant, right? But like yeah. But there I couldn't know about it, and it was all about if I so the special unit of the police, and so I just looked into it a bit in 2025 because there I tried with an indictment and sued and this is what it will be about again. Try to sue the psychiatrist and my godfather, and like I mean, a verdict can be that you discuss it with the Friedensrichter. So that can be a verdict. So it makes sense to do that, right? And now the issue is that because this psychologist is now the Friedensrichter for the region. Like if they didn't show up, this would already have been the verdict in beginning of 2025. But like yeah, I mean it's too much. It's just too much. But so I got Platzverbot, like the leader from this is absolute far hinged right wing, so maßvoll for this event. And so then I found so in September 2023, the 23rd of September, that is what our public media or what the tale is now. So this family of the AfD Führerin was evacuated by the special police unit. If that happened, probably not. But like this is what the media writes, right? And then there was a political event in Germany, so it's an important event, and she didn't partake because of security issues. But the family was in Mallorca, and there were no security issues. But there it's confirmed. So there it's. I mean, maybe the events, the politics. So in Switzerland there is no AfD. I mean, it's an alternative for Deutschland, right? So not not Switzerland, right? Yeah. But like, but then why did this police officer not? I knew nothing about that. I didn't even, and I not even that to this date, like not even that the police admitted, right? Yeah. So that's basically my preparation, and I'm much better in Swiss German. It's nothing new, but like what they don't get is how occupied I am as long as it is not resolved, and it's not good. This is not good for the stress level and for your health. And I can just imagine how bad it must be. Like so I mean the worst. No, I mean it's a combination of but like if you really get the problem is it's not that different from. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's like a rape case, or like if you just get treated as a mentally ill person, and the problem is that they are like the AfD used to, that you don't take a mentally ill perceived person as a full person. I mean, there is so much wrong with that, right? But this is what the church does around here, and this part my church president uncle doesn't question either. So like they are it's the worst combination, this conservative Katholizismus, and I don't think there is much different to like eben this conservative Islam is probably it's similar, I guess, right? Yeah, but they just don't want
maybe,
they just
yeah.
don't want to be confronted with real issues. They want to live in their bubbles, and they don't want to be so they don't want to learn how to critically think on their own, and again, this will be the downfall. Even if they think they mean well, like my aunt, my mother, they are too naive to be actually real evil. But even according to Nietzsche, we shouldn't underestimate. This is it is the Antichrist as well. So that's what it was about. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't know why they are well educated. They are, why don't they think like you do? At least they don't have patience to hear. Sometimes I don't understand the meaning of the educated people actually, who don't understand the system, how it should be. Sometimes it makes me feel very sad.
Yeah. So like I mean, this is their development for what they did with the school, and yes, like if you have the privilege to go to the gymnasium, that should not be based on income, but it has gotten worse. That so the richer families, and they send more and more their girls. So it has nothing to do with skill, and this will will not lead to much. This will
Yeah,
yeah.
people maybe they will get the high facility. That's why they don't see many other things, and who are sold that type of things. But those people are attacked in a different way, cause your idea will be much valuable if you had a very richer position. But somehow this type of people don't do much. I don't know actually. And the thinking, that the idea, who don't have, they are much richer. And nowadays people are values don't value people's talk or thinking. That they are judged by their property and money, and how beautiful they say in a visible way. Uh, there's maybe I don't know, cause they just the real people in a different way. Um, I don't know. It makes me confusing more often.
Yeah, like they are rich, but not when it comes to so it's like everything is built on wrongful silence. There is not much behind it, and this will destroy culture and nature and everything. And that's what this generation did. That's what the generation of my parents did, and they just are used that for that. Well, the sad part is for them around here it might not have consequences. So like even if we like I think we already for this part of the world it's probably already too late. So this
Yeah.
golf Südstrom or like Nordatlantikströmung, so that there is this flux of cold water from the North Pole, and I mean it will be like this will be the most important region, as you can see with so there is now a NATO basis there on the this island before Sweden, and there is the resources that might be below Greenland and so but like it's basically too late. So it was always from this Klimaabkommen advised that we should not go over like 2 something degrees in like human caused. Well, it's not necessarily just human caused, but like Erderwärmung, so that the world gets warmer. Because once that, and we are already like above 2 degrees last time I checked. The problem is you can then no longer stop that, and for the marine life, this is about as important as the birds that so like the storks that traveled the huge distances, right? Then first it will get a lot warmer, so like 5 degrees, and in the longer run, maybe even, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. I might not see. I might not live that long. So it's like I mean, in the end of this century, there will be for this part of the world, it will be much colder. So those are, as I understand, the predictions, right? But now there is for next year the biggest like El Nino phenomenon. This is not at all relevant for Europe, right? So I don't know, but maybe you know more about that. So that shifts the I guess. Well, the monsoon and so forth. So you have floods in regions you are not used to that, and yeah. But like the marine life will get for the most part destroyed, and I don't know. But many then have the strategy they just don't want to bother about it, and they don't want to think about how it is in like a decade. They just they just don't want to think. It's I mean, like you don't have to. You wouldn't need to have this fear in Switzerland as you have many places in the world where there is really no free speech, right? So you will get arrested in Russia if you hold up a blank sheet of paper. So that's not. But they don't see that they destroy everything for us. It's a fact, and yeah.
What do you think? Like in 50 years or a century, we are worried about the systemic fault or many other issues we see. Do you think the new generations or in some way it will get improved or it will get worse? What your prediction?
I mean, but this is I'm I consider myself one of the very few, like I mean, it's probably not even 7% worldwide that is doing much better than like 7 years ago. So for the 93% or something like that, the life has gotten worse. So like they, yeah, and I mean, I think if we don't do something like the French Revolution and just accept that we can no longer afford the rich. There, like I don't really see. Yeah, I don't really see a way how this can work out. But it's not like for example, hunger. This issue. Probably Elon Musk could resolve on his own if he wanted. I mean, he did the opposite, but like it's not that. It's just that it wouldn't be that big of an issue. It's just there are many that don't want that or don't care about it in those positions, and as long as there is no transparency about, I mean, with AI as well. So like the Mossad is like meddling in how open AI and so like respond when it comes to their conflict. As long as this is how this is used, there is not much hope either, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the result, I'm actually quite hopeful for the midterms, and that like Trump will just be like that he removes himself so that J.D. Vance can hand out a pardon for him, because I don't think this will, like I hope it will not work much longer. And I mean, but I don't know. Maybe the they will like, again elect someone like that in maybe 2028, or I don't know. But like I would expect that there would be an opportunity that like the next 25 years that are like then I'm not even at the age of my father, but like then I'm yeah, so then I'm properly in rent because of age. That we don't tolerate this no longer, right? So it's not. I don't know, and I hope that the yeah, but I don't. So I don't really see. I don't. Also, I mean, those are not issues I can. I think it's important that you think about it sometimes, but this is definitely not something I can directly influence, right? And so I try to change it here where I can do something, and like if they would work together, I think there is a lot of potential for well, it wouldn't need that many changes for the psychiatric business and for the church that it would be meaningful, right? But the trust is completely lost, and not without reason. And so far, they just try to kind of so it doesn't work. And I mean, I guess this would be the most important invention, not like as long as we cannot harvest energy from like a fusion reactor, Einstein's it's not that relevant for how good we are doing. So Chernyshevsky and the branch of philosophy. So I don't know. It's not what we have, but like a logical psychology that could be the big change. That like the family of Einstein. So they ended up. So this is a part of the book at the end. This probably made up letter, but there was. Also Einstein's kid ended up in a mental hospital for yeah. So that could go both ways. So for now, it's used that you put away the most potential, you silence them in that way, but like there would be a huge potential that if we learn to communicate, and so that would be psychology, right? Yeah. So I don't know, but like it's too much if we go longer, and I try to focus on the case, and then maybe so if I know after the 2nd of September, I think there will be more like it will continue, and there will be indictments where it makes sense to prepare again. Like this time, I don't know, but then we can try, and maybe I still see the projects on my homepage. I wanna make courage to come forward with this kind of dirt or whatever on the authorities, and because this is the way how you can get back trust in the system, right?
Yeah, and are you talking about your homepage? And I'm always want to upgrade your sites. If you pay is okay. If you not pay, that is too good for me. But I want
No,
to update sites. Yeah.
there is no point, because they don't dare. It doesn't matter. Like if it's they want to talk about
It doesn't
kittens.
matter, but your content, my wish is your content need to be looking more good. Not I will not make that
Yeah.
gorgeous. Actually, I will make it simple, but in a better looking way. I think your content need more beauty in your homepage.
We will see. I don't know. I think it
Yeah.
might be like I don't want to influence the police inspectors in Bangladesh. That would be strange as well. But like, I don't think that's the issue. The problem is that they don't want to take it serious and want to
Here,
paint
here is
someone as crazy if they don't understand it on the first glimpse. But like, that's the tragedy. So they, but I have not lost my motivation. I found it again. Like this is much better than in May, and
like
I'm
you
not.
know.
Yeah, sorry.
Like your country, the basic service by police, if you call them, they will get you immediately and try to fix your issue. Maybe the way we see movies and we saw the news, that's the way work. Maybe like the complicated issue like your things and many other things, maybe they take the decisions in a different way, but the basic service. But in here, the basic service, people never think of police, so they will get help from police. They never think. They will say the name police by mistake. If you rape here, the first attempt will be, and this will be fixed in your area of some powerful people. Even they also are corrupted. They will take money, so that they can give facilities to the richer guy, so that they can get out from the trouble. And the the victim also happy, even the illegal things happened with them, rather than go to the police station, because they know that, we all know that if we want to get any type of help from the police, they make more trouble. They will harass you, they will want money. Finally, only police do help when you have the power,
Yeah. I
in the
mean,
basic
yeah, I
and
know.
something will help when they don't have any other option, like it will get viral, it will get news,
Yeah.
these type of things. Yeah,
I'm just,
I never called police. My family never called police in our life,
yeah. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that different, sadly, and that's why it's important to continue this and to show, like, it should be. So here there are like public apologies for what happened in the last millennium with those cases where they. But it continued like that, and it has gotten a lot worse in the last 7 years. And so far, my experience is exactly the same. So the police is more like a cult, the church as well, a mafia. And if you don't pressure them, they never do their job, right? And what works in Switzerland. So for example, the Rega, so the helicopter. So when there is just like a heart attack or something, they arrive in like the mountain range in like 20 minutes and fly you to the hospital. But when it's an mental, so a psychological urgency, and this is often much more dangerous. There, it's just a farce, our system, right? They just don't, like, they didn't learn it. And I mean, there would be so like, I think it really works. And we shouldn't forget that. And it's a huge progress that Switzerland has in many regards a working system still, right? But there are cases where it's exactly the same, and in some ways it's then worse. So for the long COVID cases, it's worse than in Bangladesh, because here the society, the neighbors, the family, they think, well, there is a system in place that works. They paid with their salary for invalidity pension and for this insurance, and they get nothing back. And so every status and then the neighbors don't help. So they rather help a cat, where you could argue it would have been a good catch for the Rot Milan. But they don't help the I don't even mean financially poorest, but it's the same. Like, if you have 2 million, you don't have those issues in Switzerland. And if you don't have the money, like in the prisons, they are full with like not even so around 6% are female, and most of them are in prison because of like they didn't pay the ticket in the train, and so then they I don't know, they get more aggressive, and the police just behaves different with females. When it comes to shoplifting, it's
Yeah.
about the same percentage of theft by females. And you have that on cam as well. And this is often a lot more than a train ticket. But and I guess it's even worse. And
Can we end up today. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
here. It's
For
me. I
for
have
me,
to
it's
do
too
some work
much,
outside.
and I shouldn't like. I mean, we should discuss
Rendition,
the
yes.
rest somewhere else. So this is
Yeah.
really my preparation for this case. Yeah. Thanks a lot on short notice. Yeah. Ciao, Faruk. Merci.
Ciao.